Welcome to Bad Guy Wrestling. So in this one, what we're going to talk about is the All Out 2023 AEW pay-per-view. Yeah, so on this one, going to not really recap or anything. I'll talk about some stuff, but I'll, give even my thoughts and then some of my ideas on where I think people are going to be able to go with this, or kind of my thoughts on like whose stock is rising, whose is falling, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about it. Let's see what you all think about this. So the main show. So there was a 0 hour like a buy-in type thing. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But I did watch a replay of it. So entertaining enough, I guess. It was kind of weird to have Hangman Page in kind of a pre-show type of thing. But entertaining nonetheless, I guess, for free wrestling. I'm never going to be too harsh on that kind of stuff. So, but let's get into the actual like main pay-per-view here. And so first match was the Better Than You Bebe versus the Dark Order. And there's some cool things here. It was right off the bat, I thought this was going to be a lame match. But I was wrong. And one of the exciting aspects of it is what does for both groups here. And for that, I think we really need to talk about what happened in the beginning of the match, or technically the end of their match and the beginning of the next match. So there's several facets here. The storyline was quite nice in that regard. For the champions, the Ring of Honor champions, and then they were challenging, or the challengers were John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. So the new version, the new vamped Dark Order, getting back to their roots type of thing. And so you have interesting storylines within this, depending on it. If you think this was just thrown together or not, it did feel pretty much thrown together with Dark Order winning this Battle Royal, right basically on Friday night on Rampage, if I remember correctly at this point. So you get that, and then 2 days later, boom, it's a tag title. So, but with that said, I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So for all the reasons I was skeptical just there, I think the shocker here. The Ring of Honor World Champion, or the Tag Team Champions, did not change. And so Better Than You Baby, MJF and Adam Cole are the winners. They beat Dark Order. But come on, everyone knew that was going to happen. We knew they weren't going to just break this up immediately. Nor does anybody want it to. They are very entertaining. So, but the real winners here. So, talking about it is the Dark Order. It's kind of bringing them back. It was a good match for them. Within it, getting stock against going up against like two of the biggest names in AEW, and I think this is a good chance to build some momentum for them. Not sold on them. But I am starting to enjoy this bringing it back, or new persona, if you want to say. I really would like them to double down on it and kind of quit the goofiness, unless it's... I was talking with Chris Cortez on Channel Cortez 33 about this as well. I really want them to lay into this whole cult type thing, and I think that would be able to incorporate some of the goofiness too that they were doing, but in a real weird and a cultish type of thing where they're acting happy and stuff like that, but they're ready to flip or turn in any minute or things like that. So I'm not saying they have to become the next super heel faction. that they have to get championships or anything, but I just think it would really help the characters out. Uh, and because I like them, I do. I want to like them as well. But right now, they're just not doing enough for me, but I think there's real hope. And then, yeah. So that was pretty entertaining match overall. I mean, you get the predictable outcome, but then there are aspects of it that were very fun, with the MJF neck injury, getting hit with the chair, the steel chair, right into the back of the neck, and then after the match, after he comes back, gets the tag in, and then wins the match with the kangaroo kick, the double clothesline, and stuff like that, and walking out, they have the Samoa Joe incident. He pushes MJF, and you find out later, so that the reference was from an old NXT moment where Joe was being escorted, and MJF is one of them, and he gets pushed out of the way. So this leads into a big skirmish and everything down in the ring, and it was fun. That was definitely a highlight. So overall, like, I guess I was wrong. I was really bitter about this pay-per-view. Really bitter about CM Punk. Really bitter about the cost being $50. But I think this helped. This right off the bat. I was like, wow, this was very entertaining and interesting. So still, okay. So with the CM Punk thing, if you haven't, I talked about this in a previous video. But the fact that, like, this pay-per-view is, again, talking with Chris Cortez on this one, this pay-per-view is, like, themed after CM Punk. You can see his colors on the poster, which I'm looking at right now. You see the stars just like on his. It's very similar. It may not be exactly his, but, like, this really looks like it was themed after, CM Punk in his hometown and everything like that. And so when he gets fired and pulled from it, it just really felt like this was going to be a terrible pay-per-view. All hope was lost, or something dramatic like that. Something like where somehow this was a void that cannot be filled. And I mean, honestly, there was a void within it. The whole pay-per-view, saying it was still on my mind the whole time. But you can find myself caring a little less about it at the end, still thinking it was a terrible move on their part, and that's AEW, mostly Tony Khan here, and for reasons that it should have never have gotten to that point. Management should have kept that in control. But with that said, this was fun. This was a real fun storytelling exercise for the first match. And whose stock is going up here? Dark Order's is definitely better than you, baby, stock. Well, I mean, it's already hit the ceiling. Can't go any higher. So for them, just not having it go down is a huge win. So their storyline continues. I don't know. They could probably ride this for at least another month or two with the kind of the hype it's getting. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Next segment on here. And so I'm not going to talk about everything. Like, Samoa Joe then has his match and everything. It's awesome. So it was cool. But there's a couple other things. I don't want to keep this too long. But Luchasaurus and Darby Allin, right off the bat, Luchasaurus' stock has gone up a little bit, I'll say, on this. Good match. I mean, Christian Cage is still... It's really exciting somehow that Luchasaurus and Christian, by his basically being his manager and spokesperson here, is hyping Luchasaurus and is making me want to watch him, even though Christian is like getting all the screen time for the most. It's interesting how it's being done, and I wonder if it's just a master class being given by Christian on being a heel or something at this point. So, yeah, I'm I'm a fan, and this is one of the first times in my life that I have been a fan, like a real fan of Christian, not just okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. Um, like the Captain Charisma days and stuff like that, it's was just okay to me, and I so I'm really excited with this. I really like seeing him out there, so I think this was a great rise for not only Christian Cage but Luchasaurus, and hell, even for Darby too. Um, the match was brutal. There was a lot of to watch in here. I mean, it's not the best match of the night by any means, but getting Nick Wayne involved in it, yeah, I mean, it's cool. There's a little bit of ridiculousness with Nick Wayne, but nothing too bad there. That uh, it was fine. He's 18, and I think he's doing a great job. So the match itself was kept the story going, and so this was just very entertaining, and so I really enjoyed this and wanted to highlight this match just because overall the spectacle of wrestling was on full display here. Luchasaurus' new music is also pretty cool. It is dark and everything, and there was a few spots in the match that were very memorable, especially with some of the hardcoreness and the blood and what was it? What was it? The steel steps. Yes. So Alan gets swung into them, and yeah, I got notes right here. Yeah, so he gets swung into them. So extremely. I mean, it wasn't like any technical masterpiece, and it wasn't anything like that. I'm not even gonna like. This is not gonna make any top 10 match of anything ever. One of the aspects of it was great now, and so really cool, really good for that aspect, very entertaining. So I think these guys are going to be getting a little more from this. Shout out next match to Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, the crowd really took this one. So the Chicago took over on this one and made this match maybe even more than it would have been like any other time, because it made it epic. I mean, not even with the surprise ending, but Miro, and then you have Powerhouse Hobbs. So the match is very physical. It's like going at 10 like the whole time, 10 out of 10 like speed. And so it's these two guys. They're both athletic. They're both. I mean, honestly, Miro is not that much smaller than Powerhouse Hobbs. Like it's like Miro's just so wide and like I don't know. It's just he's a freak athlete. I mean, both of them are freak athletes, and so, or maybe they're just so big that maybe 50 pounds or doesn't even like look like that much of a difference on them. Maybe that's I'm not seeing it. Match was great in the sense of like two big men match. Usually those can sometimes be kind of lame, but these are two big men that can like move fast and are strong, and these are real like freak athletes, like I was saying here, and so it's cool. So thought Miro was gonna win. Miro does win. Very physical match, and then then you have the double cross at the end with the going for the handshake, but then Hobbs takes over, attacks Miro. But the real shocker, so ex-WWE Lana, so going by CJ Perry. I don't know what she's going by in AEW because they didn't actually introduce her. So she comes out to try to stop and everything. So you've seen it, you know it. It's interesting. We'll see what happens because the whole Redeemer arc of Miro, and he forsakened her, I believe, a while back. So that's why he's acting all weird and like upset on there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to somehow reconcile, or is she going to then turn on him or something like that? Uh, uh, I can't imagine her being in AEW that long if she's not gonna like be valet for Miro for a while at least. It happened in WWE. They kind of split them up, and then they did other storylines, and then it kind of felt like it just ran its course. So hopefully, either things have changed realistically, and maybe she has more experience, or they have a better storyline, or things like that. But realistically, I feel like they're probably going to, unite Miro and but just say CJ Perry for now. Um, yeah, Miro stock is definitely kind of going up on that one. Powerhouse Hobbs, I don't know. I think because of just how much the fans like the match, I think this ends up being a for him as well. Not like as big as Miro's. They obviously haven't written a storyline for him either. So, but it's not quite to the level I feel like of being buried or anything like that. I think he's earned it, and he's gonna um, earn the fact of having such a good match. He's earned the next shot. Maybe another story, a minor story that gets him going for his own push for the future there. So that's pretty cool when that happens. So I don't really want to talk about the Chris Statlander Ruby Soho match. Not what I was. The match was good. The ending's not what I expected. And not quite understanding some of the details on it. Like, why is Storm like a face character now? Why is she a good, a good character now? And why is she not siding with Ruby Soho? Yeah, like I don't know. So the jury's out on this one. It's kind of weird. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So it's not. Don't need to talk about it. Bryan Danielson, Ricky Starks. That one was cool. Just quickly on this one. I mean, it was a brutal match. It was pretty straightforward. This felt like the CM Punk replacement match. Gets suspended, and then fired, and so we need to put something on it. We need to make it brutal to kind of replace it. So yeah, it was cool. It was entertaining. I don't think it did too much damage to anyone as far as there's where they're going and everything like that. I think Ricky Stark loses, but he comes out of this pretty good. I think where he can keep continuing some momentum here. Daniel Bryan, yeah. Bryan Danielson, yeah, I mean, he do whatever he wants. He's coming in and out. It seems like he could go right back into the title picture at any time he wants. So he doesn't really necessarily need to do anything for this. There's no guarantee that he's going to be, he's going to be here consistently. So entertaining, but definitely probably thrown together. So yeah, Eddie Kingston match was. Next thing, definitely want to talk about this one is Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, and so this was probably this might have been the best actual match of the night. Maybe not the most entertaining one because that Jon Moxley match was really entertaining, but as far as like advancing storyline and like technical wrestling and just shock and like everything, like this was a pretty important match of the night. So maybe not the most, I don't know. It's just like this was like a key. This was one of the things left over from All In. Kind of what happens because Kenny Omega gets by Takeshita, and then now, it's a carryover. So the storyline is continuing. So there's the magnitude of this. Where some of the other ones, let's see, throughout it are after, except for like well, one of the aspects, the Orange Cassidy and John Moxley, that's also seems to be kind of more of a continuation in the sense of like best friends, and Orange Cassidy and Blackpool Combat Club have been going at it a lot lately. So this and the Kenny Omega and Takeshita match were kind of continuation. So they really had this kind of like magnitude to them, the coming out, the importance of them, like going to settle something or determine something. And in this, great match. And at the end of the day here, Kenny Omega loses to Konosuke Takeshita. And it's cleanish. It's a clean win, we'll say. Because there are some interference with Don Callis in the sense of like him stacking the chairs up on the outside when Takeshita goes through the ropes and hits it, or the attempted screwdriver that goes through. that was comical and ridiculous. But Takeshita does win with the knees and that moves, and his stock is high, sky high on that one. Then he is definitely going to. I mean, he had a main event with arguably one of the best, if not best, wrestlers, because that's always for debate. Like, is it Daniel Bryan? Is it Kenny Omega? Is it John Moxley? And Kenny Omega was that guy in other promotions and stuff, and now he's in a promotion with the other guys that could be in there as well. And so this is a pretty big deal that you have like Takeshita getting a win over a guy this level, and so I'm looking forward to what happens now. Obviously, he's becoming a focus. They're trying to see, can this new to AEW guy, can he be can he be the man? Championship potential. Can he be the man for like months at a time? Hold on to a belt. Can he? Can maybe not even that, but can he entertain for that long? Can he entertain for these periods of having these major storylines with them, not just being an athlete? Because there's that language barrier. That's why he's probably got Don Callis there helping with that. But his body language and action, the way he wrestles, and just facial expressions and things, that's catching up. Going to be able to tell a lot of the story without even having to really directly speak to the audience. So that's cool. So very impressed with it. Yeah, what can you say? What Kenny Omega is putting over Takeshita, and so wow, that is quite a feat there. So interesting, what's going to happen with Kenny Omega? I mean, Young Bucks are kind of on a slump too. Kenny Omega's on a slump now, and so. Do they go back to being the elite, or do they stay separate? And what's going on with Hangman as well? So all of them, they're kind of fallen out a little bit in recent times, and I don't know. So maybe we're going to get them to back off just a little bit to have them come back or something like that, or maybe there will all be them be involved in a storyline. So this is a way of kind of like getting them free of all their feuds and rivalries and things like that. Anybody, because Dark Order's done with Hangman. I'd assume this basically a cleanish win by Takeshita is basically kind of ending this. I don't see it going further. It doesn't make sense. And let's see, Young Bucks lost to FTR, and yeah, I mean, they lost to Bullet Club Gold, and shocker, that was another match of the night. So yeah, so it's hard to. And Hangman was even on the pre-show. He won the whatever I don't know, was it Battle Royal or something like that? I don't remember, because it wasn't high priority. That's because again, it's weird to have him on that pre-show, and I think they're probably going to get to a point now of having to kind of redesign where they're going with all the elite guys. So interesting with that. So probably one of my, maybe not my favorite match. That would be Mox, and that would be Orange Cassidy. But this was, man, this one has got me just like excited and like thinking about what's gonna happen with it. So yeah, last match I want to talk about. I want to just talk about the main event here. Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship. So this one was interesting because there was a lot of buildup for this. A lot of really kind of setting up this showdown where Orange Cassidy, of all people, is now going against Jon Moxley in a main event. It does feel like spot might not have been theirs. CM Punk hadn't gotten fired. Perhaps he would have headlined this show. I don't know who he would have gone. Yeah, maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe this is the headliner the whole time because, presumably CM Punk, he beat Samoa Joe at All In. So you would assume that storyline's done. So who's he going to with in 1 week? I guess they would set it up on Collision or something like that. So it would have probably just been some sort of match thrown together, or like a trios with FTR, or I don't even know. Who knows? So it's not like it would have been some sort of marquee match that like had a big running storyline, kind of like this one is. So maybe it would not have been the main event. But anyway, so this one has Orange Cassidy going through a brutal match, even though it's not a no disqualification, and Orange gets busted open, and there's lots of just brutal spots, and Moxley just like not letting him do his antics and things like that. So it's just like the serial assassin again, in the sense of like Jon Moxley is just like making him brawl, making him fighter, making him just like fight his way. Just obviously I'm sure they plan it this because, but and it is just like I'm just following this. It's like seeing like this like overwhelming force with this Jon Moxley that you can withstand for like a while. You can withstand it because it's not like he's not hitting you with 10 out of 10 power like right off the bat, like these big like just show-stopping haymakers, but he's hitting you really, really hard and over and over and over and over again. And so it's how long can you last this type of thing? That's like the feel of watching a Moxley match. And so he does lose every once in a while on a rare occasion, but man, does he win a lot. And in this case, he eventually beats Orange Cassidy down enough, and it was brutal, and he wins. And it's interesting at that point, and it's kind of this weird, interesting nature of Blackpool Combat Club, because they come out to celebrate with him, and they kind of just like leave Cassidy alone, like it's like they are definitely a heel stable, but they are closer to having like a weird set of morals where they just like, if you're their enemy, they go all out on you. No rules, but they like kind of like do respect certain aspects or different things, so they aren't psychotic in that sense either. So these guys are really winning right now, as far as just like this stable is working. I had my real doubts about it, but this stable is awesome. Even with Wheeler Yuta in there, who was like kind of the no name in a sense for these other really big names, it's working with it. There's the power dynamics within it, but really. they've allowed them to go do their own things and come back, and it's really cool. Wow, what can you say? This is a excellent stable, one of the best ones. Um, it's kind of like the opposite of the Roman Reigns, and the Usos, and then eventually Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, as they call it, and it's like the opposite, but they both are captivating, and they are both very different at the same time, and so it's an awesome. I think in AEW, it's the best faction right now. I'm pretty sure. I mean, because Jericho Appreciation Society, and I'm not even saying they were as good, but they're gone, so that's a big. Elite is kind of like, are they even a stable right now? And Bullet Club Gold, but they're Bang Bang Gang and stuff like that. So Acclaimed, is that a stable? I don't know. House of Black, is that a stable? I guess. Still not as good as this one. Um, wow. So that was, man. What did it do though for Orange Cassidy? Like, this is like your arrival party here, and you lost the match and you lost the championship, but you lost it to John Moxley after, like, almost going the distance in some senses, and at points in the match thinking, oh my goodness, he's gonna beat John Moxley. So, like, it's made him look awesome. Like, in some senses, he drops the title because he can now go into kind of a higher spotlight here, closer to being probably getting more and more main events, and then potentially challenging for maybe even a title one day. I'm not sure that he ever gets one, but I'm sure he would probably get, if he keeps going this path, definitely gets, some shots at it and stuff like that. So awesome. But this was just one match, and it showed that you can have that star potential. But we'll see what happens. I mean, everything changes. This isn't like immediately like, oh my goodness, he needs the biggest in the world. This is just like, to me, kind of like, okay, I can see it. Let's keep with it. And so, awesome. The Orange Cassidy character is really really getting better and better and better. And so, man, that it's just really awesome just how much this character has even evolved, even though it's not like his personality's changed that much, but the just the way he tells the story has evolved so much, and in a good way, and it's really exciting. So, with that, overall, I mean, the pay per view was, I guess it was worth the $50. Week later, right after your WrestleMania esque thing, and it hurt. It hurt. I won't lie, but I do feel a lot better after the pay per view. It hurt because the firing of CM Punk, which just, I don't know, just the whole situation could have been avoided. Everything. It was so stupid. But I felt like that, like, somehow took away from, like, I felt like, I'm sure a lot of people can understand the conflict here. But if you hate CM Punk and you're on that side of it, okay. But you still got to recognize the fact that he is very, very accomplished, and that, like, even if you don't like his personal life, his story character is quite good. And so, with all that, I mean, it really was a distraction for me the whole time, and it is really hard not to bring it up, because the whole time that's just so upsetting of the whole situation. So that's it. It's intertwined with it forever. Whatever happens from here on out. And so, but overall, really good pay per view. It's up here. It's not up here, but it's up here. Very, very good. Very good. Makes me feel like I didn't waste my money completely on this. I'm trying to tell you it's a positive thing. I enjoyed it. I am bitter, but I enjoyed it. How about that? And if you're not bitter about the CM Punk thing, then you'll probably enjoy it and not feel bitter at all. You'll just enjoy it. So that's the best I can give you on a non-bitter answer for that one. So yeah, so this is Bad Guy Wrestling, and you know what? Um, yeah, you should like and subscribe if you want to. And try to do some more of this. Keep it regular because working with Channel Cortez 33 has been very fun. And so I hope to see you soon. All right, bye.